what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Inside of today's video, we've got some balance changes. Let's quickly run through what they are, and then I'll be playing a few games with the ones that I think will make the biggest changes in the meta. So the first one is with Mo. He's receiving 2 nerfs. So his main attack damage has gone from 1,200 to 1,080. That is a 10% nerf. He definitely needed it. You could just see, like, the amount of damage that you could output was absolutely crazy. And then his supercharge rate has been reduced by 20%. So you should see it in a second. It will take a lot longer for Mo to build up his super, which is pretty nice, because a lot of the times, like, you'd end up rushing a Mo and he'd always have a super available to counter you. So 2 nerfs to Mo, I think it's going to be a big change to him, but he's still going to be pretty strong. So the next nerf is with Meg. She's receiving a HP nerf with her mecha. It's gone from 8,000 HP to 7,000. So this is a 13% nerf. Anything over 10% is substantial. 1,000 HP is crazy. I thought the main problem with Meg is the fact that you could cycle super so quickly. You can see here, like, by the time I've melted someone up close, I have another super available, and then the knockback with the star power as well. I thought that was the biggest problem, but at least we're getting some change with Meg, and she's definitely going to be a lot worse. The next brawler that's receiving a nerf is Gail. He's receiving 2 nerfs, and they're definitely substantial. So the first one is with his super damage. It's going from 1,640 to 1,200, which is a 27% nerf, which is basically, I think that's what he was before. So they're just reverting that super damage buff, which I definitely agree with. They didn't even need to buff it whatsoever, in my opinion. And then also they nerfed his hypercharge rate. So instead of needing 3.3 supers to get, it now takes 4 supers to get to his hypercharge. So the big problem with Gail is that he could just cycle like crazy. All you needed to do is connect your hypercharge onto 3 players, which is pretty easy considering how big his super is, and you could just kill the entire lobby because of the super damage. So both of these nerfs definitely going to tone down Gail a lot. The next brawler that's receiving a nerf is Chester, and he's receiving 2 nerfs, which I'm quite surprised about. 2, maybe 1 would have been nicer, but the first nerf, as you can see, is with his base HP. It's going from 7,400 to 7,000, which is pretty nice. And then his Bellomania star power, the damage boost is going from 200% to 150% with the first bell. So that is pretty nice. So effectively, that's 2,560 damage for what it used to be, now 1,920. So it's definitely going to turn him down a bit. 2 nerfs is definitely going to impact him, but I still predict him at least being around the B tier. Next brawler that's receiving a nerf, it's Daryl. He's receiving a reduced supercharge nerf from his basic attacks by 27%. So essentially, you're not going to be able to charge your supers more frequently through your main attack, but I still think it's going to be pretty quickly. I think the reason why is because they can't, of course, change his mechanics with his super. He's always going to get 2 supers, and also, like, if you remove the knockback, then Daryl's just going to be terrible. So at least making it so it's going to be a little bit more difficult to cycle through to his supers, I don't think it's really going to do too much though, and I'm still anticipating being at least the A tier. Next nerf we're going to see is with Kenji's healing gadget. So I'm going to have to show this with another device. So his healing is going from 75% of the damage dealt in 3 seconds to 50%. So we can see here with Shelly, was super pretty much in the face, and then pop gadget 1,780, whereas before you'd be able to heal pretty much back up to full HP. So this is going to be a good nerf, 33%, but I don't think it's going to be enough, and Kenji's still going to be S tier. Moving into the final nerf is with Mortis's hypercharge rate. So his hypercharge rate is going from needing 2 supers to 2.5 supers. So this is a big nerf because it will take him from 10 hits to 13 hits to get his hypercharge, which is really nice because Mortis's hypercharge was just too good. You could cycle it way too fast. So you can see here, it's going to take a long time to build up. Of course, you're going to be able to connect your super onto people and charge it a little bit faster, but I would say it's a great nerf because now people won't just be able to spam this and get constant kills and cycling, and you know, it's just crazy. Probably could have done with a bit more of a nerf, but more is still going to be like in and around the A tier at least. Now we're going to move on to some changes, and this one is a little bit confusing, to be honest. A lot of people are confused by this, so we're going to have to look at both star powers. So essentially, there was a bug where with the other in my sight star power, well, you can see by the projectile speed it's been increased a little bit, but basically the super projectile speed was buffed with the in my sight star power, so it just made this one absolute. So you can see now that the base super projectile speed has been increased by 19%, which is pretty nice. So you can see it's a little bit faster when you're using this star power, but I still don't feel like, look how slow this shot is. Her main attack base projectile speed has been increased by 20% as well. So they're trying to make this star power a bit more usable, but it's just so slow. We're going to have to see whether in my sights is even better now. But then what they actually did was increase the projectile speed, well, decrease the projectile speed of the in my sight star power. It was reduced from 20% to 16%, but like, this is going to be insanely fast, right? Like, so fast. If you think about it, she's got a buff basically to the in my sight star power. I think they needed to nerf this one even more to like 10% boost or something, because now she's got to be absolutely insane. I feel like Mandy could be really meta now with these changes. We'll have to wait and see. Okay guys, so now I'm going to be testing out the 3 buffs which we're going to be seeing with the balance changes, and then just overall discuss about what's going to change the most. So the first buff is with Penny. Her attack range is being increased by 8%. Oh, all this already seems quite huge. It's going from 24 tiles to 26, which doesn't sound like a lot, but now Penny's going to be able to get in range of people a lot easier. I see this making Penny a lot stronger. I can see Penny being like in and around the 80s. She also got a buff to her turret HP as well. You got to remember, in the last update, I could definitely see Penny being a meta brawler now. This feels really nice. It's definitely what Penny needed, in my opinion. I think she was just far too easy to counter because of how limited range she has. Now she's going to be able to snipe a lot of people across the map. I'm excited for this one. I don't mind Penny too much in the meta, even though she can be a little bit too hard to counter. Sometimes when we saw the Penny meta, I think it was like a year ago, last March. Like, that was nearly 2 years actually now. That's crazy, but it was too toxic. You got to face it. So now, I think with the hype charges still, she's going to struggle with aggro and assassins. So I feel like this star power that I'm using with the knockback is definitely going to help her out a lot more than the other one. But it's a welcome change. I'm definitely excited to try this one out more. I'm going to be trying it out a lot more in this stream later today. I could definitely see people underrating this one. Personally, attack ranges seem to do a lot, whilst the normal person just like, that's a bit unexciting, but I think it can definitely change a lot. So we're going to use the knockback here on the Frank. We should be able to delete a lot of these. Okay, Cordelius, pop off, bro. Can I get the ball in time? Yes, I can. And I'm going to pass this up. Beautiful. And then a one shot from Super, which I should be able to get from the Frank. So hopefully, I was hoping to try and get a good goal there. But there's also, in terms of nerfs, quickly I will talk about the other buffs when I jump into those brawlers. But the nerfs, I think Gail definitely is going to be impacted a lot. I still see him be like, I don't know, like a C tier brawler, B tier brawler. He's definitely not going to be anywhere near the S tier 100%. There's just no chance. Even though the hypercharge is still really good, I see like at maximum him be like B tier, just because those whenever you change the super and whatever, it really impacts him in the meta. Let's see if we can change position here, knock him back. And yeah, Penny feels really good. Super clean. I'm excited for this change. It's definitely going to do a lot. So jumping into the next buff, which we're going to be seeing with the balance change, well, which we are seeing with the balance changes, it is with Squeak. So his main attack has gone from 2,160 to 2,320, but I'm actually using the damage star power on top of this. So I think Squeak 100% is going to be at least relevant in the meta. You think about 2,600 damage, nearly 2,700 damage with one attack. That's going to be really good. Already, he was starting to see a lot more in the APAC region already, and especially as a late pick. Now he's going to be a lot more prevalent because although his hypercharge isn't the greatest, at least he's a last pick control brawler that has a hypercharge. So you're thinking about on like knockout, I'm seeing people choose Squeak late pick. You know, that hypercharge is going to do a lot when the knockout gas comes in. I just think now he's going to be able to compete a lot more with assassins. So definitely look out for Squeak in this meta. I see him making big moves. Although it's only a 70% buff, I still think it's going to do a lot, because you got to think about it. He did get a hypercharge. Although it's not the most exciting, it's still a hypercharge. You know, not every brawler has a hypercharge in the game, so still he can get some good pressure with it. So you can see here, pop my hypercharge. Should just be able to just throw things around here, see whether we can make... Oh, we nearly cycled through to another hypercharge super. I think he's not going to be a great ladder brawler just because people just constantly go like Mortis, Kenji, whatever else. But I think in the draft and competitive, he's going to be a good brawler, 100%. There's no doubt about it. Let's see if my teammates can actually defend this or not. Perfect. So 7% is good. I was actually scared that they'd overbuff it by like, normally when Squeak's main attack damage goes up by like more than 10%, he just becomes really too strong. But he definitely needed it. I think in terms of his play rates, win rates, etc., he was pretty far down. So he definitely needed this little bit of love. So my super just went to Narnia. And yeah, I don't know what's really happening right now. It's pretty hard to showcase how good Squeak potentially could be when there's a Buzz and Mortis just in my face 24/7. Like, of course, again, in ladder, it's going to be hard. You're going to need as well in your ranked draft to have at least one tank counter still in there, because it still is Squeak at the end of the day. Still Squeak and can still get ran down because his reload is super slow. Okay, however, still got the ball. I should have maybe super kicked that way, but I don't think it really mattered regardless. So I'm excited to try these changes out more. Again, on my stream, it's going to be a better chance to see whether he's actually good or not. See if the hypercharge actually does anything to this Gray. Come on, come on, come on. We can maybe get the ball up in time. I don't think we can get the ball up in time, but it was a nice try. I think I could definitely feel the damage buff, especially against some of these tanks, but we're going to have to see how it fares off in the meta overall. Okay, guys, so we're jumping into the final balance change with the update. The Maisie main attack damage is going from 2,560 to 2,800. So that's a 9% buff, nearly 10%. So her main attack is obviously going to feel a lot better. But you've still got the problem that her main attack is just so hard to hit in this meta. So whether this will make the biggest of differences, I don't think it's going to be enough for Maisie, unfortunately, for you Maisie mains out there, all three of you. I think if you was to want her to be meta again, you'd have to do something with the super recharge rate. But I still think that was a bit too toxic, right? I don't know, it still feels quite nice. We'll have to see. I think in competitive play, she might be okay at a push. Okay. I still think it's too hard to use her comparison to other tank counters out. Okay, well, I just used my super there. Kenji just literally made me poo myself in real life. But I can definitely feel the damage buff 100%. Like when I'm just attacking this Otis, it's just feeling a lot better. Again, I just think there's more consistent tank counters out there. Maybe she might start seeing a bit more of a play rate considering Gail has got nerfed. So you might need something heavy hitting like Maisie, for example. But yeah, just still, I don't know. Maisie all comes down to like her power plays with her hypercharge and her super combination. So I still feel like she's going to be a little bit empty in the meta. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe I'll underestimate her. A lot of times I do end up underestimating Maisie. So I've got a hypercharge here. We can use it to perhaps get a good opportunity to score. Here we go, push back. And that's exactly why you do not want... I thought it was going to dash out of the way. That's exactly why you don't want Maisie to be... we'll get a supercharge rate buff because that hypercharge is so dangerous. So crazy. Let's see. I was hoping Kenji would pop his gadget to see how much he actually healed him up. But yeah, alright, let's try and win this game. Although I kind of just threw that. I still have a knockback here and a pushback on this Kenji, but still that gadget is just crazy. Like, and then you've got the super on top of that. I think Kenji definitely needs some more nerfs, but I think they wanted to still make him strong because people would complain. I think one nerf is at least justified. At least we're not going to have like a completely busted Kenji meta. 20 seconds left. My auto aim is not serving me right. I don't know why I auto aim with Maisie. It never really works. We've got 13 seconds left to defend this. Hopefully the Colt can do stuff to this Kenji. Here we go. He gets the ball away. Hypercharge. I think that's going to be enough. There's no way that these guys are going to score. So that's going to be it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Of course, I really love it when balance changes come out because we can test out the meta and everything else. I think these are some really solid balance changes. There's not really, for mid-season balance changes, I don't think there's actually a lot that I was expecting, like in terms of reworks and whatever. I think Adrian hit the nail on the head in terms of buffs, nerfs, and hopefully we got a balanced meta because there's no more balance changes until World Finals, so just bear that in mind. That's going to be it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.